are we?
We are the CineBeards. 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 CineBeards.
At least 75% of the CineBeards.
Where are the other 40%?
The other 22% are, I believe, kidnapped by 2 children.
Oh my god.
Ah, sweet baby.
The other
boy would
guy,
do
what's his
nothing
name? Beardy. Oh shit, that doesn't narrow it down.
Jared.
No, it's not him.
Jason.
No, Jason is
this
here.
is-
Oh, hello. It's a visual.
Non-Thomas.
Yeah.
Non-Thomas has been kidnapped
I hate
by
it.
children, and they're here taunting us. Oh well.
Oh, well.
Well, Dion, what are we talking about this episode?
Since this was your brainchild.
Oh, yeah. This was your brainchild, yeah.
Oh yeah. Cinemas. They have to do with movies, right?
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking, like, why do we still go to the cinema? I know I have a lot of friends that don't go to the cinema, and I think we've all got a lot of horror war stories about the cinema.
Most of them coming from Canal Walk.
Yes, it's
Actually,
mine
well,
too.
that and premieres at the IMAX.
Yeah.
And
Never go watch a movie for its first showing at the IMAX.
except we do every single time.
we don't learn.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We're like Hollywood,
Yay.
and also just some like pro tips for a better cinema experience.
Do you think?
Hint: pay more money and make sure there are fewer people.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
do.
Therefore
don't do
you
that.
are.
It'll. All right, Descartes.
I drink, therefore I am.
I'm not French. I'm saying.
Descartes.
Descartes. It sounds like an insult. Do you think we should bring back as a culture ushers
Yes.
Yes.
in movies?
Yes. You have no idea how shocked I was when I was like young, and there were people like misbehaving in the theater,
And there's no one to
like,
go
and
to.
And you look around, and you're like, okay, cool. Where's the adult that's gonna stop them?
Yeah.
And there's no
There's
adult.
no one.
There's no
And then
adult.
you can go out and you can go like tell the ticket seller,
And they just shrug.
but then you have to like literally walk in, like point at the
And be
people,
like,
and you're gonna be in a darkened
"Ooh,"
room
and
with
you're
them.
the knock.
Yeah.
In a dark room with people with switchblades.
The problem is they're already at the point where they don't have projectionists. Like the projectionist is supposed to stand there for the first 15 minutes
to make
of the
sure
film.
all is well with the film.
They don't even do that.
It's
Like,
all
they-
automated.
It's all automated. Nobody's checking up, which is why there's so many fucking disasters. And it's basically up to us to do their job and go out and say like, hey, there's a problem with this film. It's
Or,
ruining
hey,
our experience.
there's people being shitty.
So in an ideal world, ushers would be amazing.
Because ushers can serve as both.
Yeah.
Ushers can serve as, hey, stop
There's
that, or
something
I'm going
for
to
the
hit you with a
movie.
cane.
Yeah.
And radio to someone, hey, the movie's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean I would pay IMAX
Yeah,
prices.
You see, that's the thing.
Happily,
I would pay extra to sit in an ushered cinema.
yeah, for sure. And like if someone's talking or they stand at the back, if they see a cell phone, it's like
They just get shot.
yeah, they've got a crossbow and they're well trained.
And they're well trained, unlike that guy in Ready or Not.
How do I use my crossbow?
YouTube video. Yeah, I think ushers would be amazing. Do they still do that anywhere?
In the UK, I believe. I believe in the UK there are still like 1 or 2 independent cinemas that have ushers. Because I remember there was this whole article like, this cinema is doing this great thing to stop people talking, and their ushers were all dressed up in morph suits,
More
like
suit?
those completely black
Oh,
fabric suits,
yeah.
and the ushers would sneak up on people and go, "Stop talking!" like behind them in the middle of the cinema.
Nice. That's usually up to us, like where Jason argues with the mother and then flips her off. Or
She
tells
told me to
her-
fuck off, so I flipped her off.
Like that time where I threw popcorn and told that guy to fuck off in that cinema when I was very brave.
Oh, I'm so proud of you,
He couldn't see me.
Thomas.
In that very same cinema, you went and sculled out the lady as well.
Yeah, it was good times.
Wow,
good
what
time.
movie was this?
Endgame.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Luckily, not a
It was-
like first screening.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There was one time, yes, dude. like, I know you're not supposed to punch children, but my God.
No. It's not that you're not supposed to. It's just frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like, you could punch a kid, and
remember
what are you gonna do? Like, tell your parents? Oh no, you can't. You're an orphan.
The second time I watched Black Panther, luckily it was the second time I was watching it. I was sitting in a cinema, and there was this fat, shitty little child behind me watching with his friends who'd clearly seen it before.
I was like,
And so literally every joke before it happened, he would shout the punchline. And like before something happened, like, oh, he's gonna shoot him. This is like
just turn and
to sort of impress his friends. And like the best I could do was just turn around, like, look if he had a guardian, no guardian to address, so just like, shut up. And then they'd be quiet for 5 minutes, and then they'd start again. It's like,
just beat them.
because he
What is
obviously
the
thought
cure
he
for
was
this
he obviously
disorder?
thought he
He
was
was
very
the shit,
fucking
yeah.
he thought he was absolutely the
What
shit.
is the cure for this disorder? Beatings.
Yeah.
Just slap it.
Or just ushers.
Just ushers.
Just to pick the child up and just like
Yeah.
carry him out.
And then they put them in the children box.
Or they could treat him like Robert Pattinson treats seagulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take it. Oh, just whack.
And then just like smack them
on the fucking rocks.
Just smack and smack and smack and smack until it's just bloody pulp, and then just chuck it in the cistern.
I mean, that would be best case scenario.
Yeah, but
That would be
like,
great.
there are several hurdles we need to kind of cross before we get there.
Yeah.
So I think just ushers saying
Ushers would be great.
ushers with like one of those big ass fucking mag lights, like shine it in your face. Shut up.
Oh yeah.
And then
And the thing is, I wouldn't even mind that light going
no,
off because I'd be
I
like,
know
justice is being served.
exactly. I know that in that moment, my ticket money is going towards the preservation of order in society.
And that's the other thing is the argument against it obviously is like, well, cinemas are just scraping by, they're not making that much money, etc., etc. But it's a vicious cycle
Yes.
which just ends up with the cinema going out of business because
People
they just
don't want to
don't
go to
wanna
the
go.
cinema
because
if
the
they're going to be...
experience is shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The service is bad. Jesus, dude, they pay them so badly. Some of our students at UWC,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like work at the
Cape
Cape
Gate.
Gate one. Apparently, if you like go for a job, like there's they'll tell you, okay, cool, but then you have to work the next 6 months every day.
Every day.
Literally daily, and they're
Holy
paid
shit.
like bare
Minimum
minimum
wage.
wage, like absolute like pure
What is
minimum
minimum
wage.
wage? Like 10 grand?
And the
No, way below that.
Really?
way below
I work in the
that.
film industry. I don't know what money is.
And their shifts are something like 10 to 12 hours. Like it's ridiculous.
Holy
It's a
shit,
banana.
That,
How
that,
much could
that
it
is
cost?
proper
$10?
mistreatment.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. They were like, oh, I don't know if I what did the one say? She said she didn't know if she wanted to go work at like the cinema or at like I think like some other retail or just like go
Jesus.
work at the retail
Retail.
store.
Yeah.
You're protected
Holy
in retail.
Yeah, so you basically have very unhappy people, which is partly the reason I can understand why they are so unenthusiastic
About their jobs.
when scooping out popcorn and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's not really, someone's vocation.
Yeah. So I mean, fair enough. The service industry sucks shit.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's a shit experience. Like, okay, cool. I'm here 20 minutes early for this film, and now there is a 40-minute queue for the popcorn.
Because there are 8 tills and 1 is open.
Yeah, or 3 are open, but everyone takes
Well, 3
4.
3 are open, but I can't go and pay there. I have to pay at the machines behind me and then stand in the same queue as the other people that are paying there anyway.
Oh well, no. Now you can pay at the till,
Okay,
or you
you
can
pay
pay
at
at
the
the
till.
machine. And if you pay at the machine, you have to go to the collection queue, and the collection queue is longer than the normal queue.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great system. I'm so glad they thought it up and put it
They're
into
so fucking
place.
smart.
They're so smart.
And all of that would be bearable if it wasn't for how frequently they just fuck up. What was it recently that we watched where they delayed it? Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker started like 40 minutes late.
40 minutes.
Half an hour late, yeah.
It does
Something like that.
At least they didn't play the trailers.
Yeah, they ended up actually starting the... But I mean, you're sitting there and it's like, cool, it's going to be 5 minutes.
Because it was the first showing of it at the IMAX, which always is an issue.
Why?
Tom just did some basic math. If they're working 10 hours a day, every day for a 30-day month, they're getting $6,000. 20 rand an hour is the minimum wage.
That's the amount of tax that's taken off my salary. No, wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds about right. So, yeah. So, I mean, they're fucking miserable. And how hard is it to, before people walk into your cinema, just like press play on the movie, on the fucking movie?
Just while they're cleaning.
test it.
Just while they're cleaning, just play.
Just
Is it
fucking
working?
test it.
Cool.
Because it happens so often. I mean, we watched it.
Almost every single time we've gone to see a movie for its first screening there, it hasn't worked properly.
Have
Yeah.
you guys also noticed there is a dent in the IMAX screen at Cape Gate?
Oh yeah,
Bottom
it's
left.
because the screen keeps popping out there. Martina went to watch Endgame with a friend, and like the screen came loose there,
Bottom
and like
left.
they
Same
kept
thing
having to
happened
get
to me during Attila.
they kept having to
Elite
get
of the
people to
Battle
come
Hub.
in and like reattach it manually, and like nobody could, so they had to get like some woman that worked the one till to come and do it, and she apparently just went like bloops.
Yeah, so, like when it happened during Elita, they were struggling, like 3 or 4 people were struggling to kind of figure out how it works.
But this one
and
lady
then the
knew.
one dude came in and just like click.
Yeah, I mean, the one of my all-time favorite stories is when we went to watch It.
Yeah.
On the IMAX. Great. Oh, cool. A horror movie on the IMAX. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So first it started, and then it like what I thought was, you know, when they customize the sort of like the little logo before the
Yeah,
film or
like
whatever.
they did for Blade
so
Runner.
so,
It kept
so it,
flickering
like it
back.
kept flickering off.
Oh, see, that's cool.
And I was like, oh, and like even the little IMAX intro thing was like flickering off. I was like, oh, that's
remember
actually
the
pretty
one
cool.
they did for Blade Runner? It was like
Yeah,
custom synth, and you know
it's
the letters changed. And all
pretty
that stuff.
immersive,
Numbers.
and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then it just kept going. I was like, wait, this is an error. And then it's like, okay, so they fixed that, but then the lights in the projection booth are on, and they're fucking bright. So they're like, the screen is all washed out. So we go and we complain, and we're like, hey, like, the lights in the projection booth are on. Now remember, the film is like, I think they restarted it, but now it's going, and it's running. Now I keep having to leave, which is obviously also fucking annoying for the other people.
Of course.
And they eventually tell us, like, sorry, the person that knows where their light switch is in the booth is in Johannesburg. We don't know where the light switch is.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
And they eventually got those lights off. And this is just the universe fucking with me. There was one light left on in the projection booth
Yeah.
that is so directional, it was literally...
It was a spotlight.
It was a spotlight on us.
Like
If you stood at the back of
popcorn perfectly.
if you stood at the back of the cinema, it was just our two seats lit up, and like and everything's reflective, like the popcorn things and the Coke. So like I ended up having to eat popcorn from between my legs, like on the floor, because it was just bright, and they never turned it off.
Yeah.
They just couldn't turn it off.
I found something when I was in America. I found out something that I keep forgetting to tell you guys, but it's pretty significant.
What is it? American cinema culture?
No,
'Cause
no.
I've got a fucking story. About
No, no, no.
Jesus.
My great uncle is the guy who started Sturkinical.
Are you serious? Because
No
my
ways.
uncle was the manager of... He built the new metro at the waterfront.
You two are the great warring houses.
And he was the general manager of all the Wonderlands.
You
are warring
You guys
houses.
are the great warring houses.
We must unite.
By your powers combined, then
Stab him in the back.
it's fine.
I'm gonna pretend to eat poison.
That is amazing.
How ridiculous is that?
That is fucking mad.
Ridiculously doing the right podcast.
There's just a lot of history here. You really feel
Yeah,
it.
we're really
The
letting down our
lore-
ancestors.
The lore of this podcast just keeps growing and growing.
That's amazing.
Shit's deep. No, but that's
Oh, and that actually makes sense because no one can spell your surname. So that's just someone trying to spell Musicamp.
music.
If you look at the logo,
There's a
you look
K,
at
I think, and there's some S's and a T, and
I don't know. All the letters are in the logo.
it's just
Yeah.
an anagram.
Yeah, that was a fun little tip. But I know when I
amazing.
met when I met his son in America.
That's so fucking cool. Nice. So score some tickets there, man.
That's what I was
Like,
thinking.
where the fuck are the promos, yo?
Fucking bullshit.
That's
Oh my god, that's fucking cool.
They
So-
sold it at some point.
So you mentioned American film culture. We're still
So-
quite lucky, I think. Like I've had issues, but generally, and this is gonna come in with our tips section. But generally, I found if I go to like an IMAX screening, for the most part, people behave themselves. Ruan says in South Korea, people are dead quiet, like uncomfortably quiet. Where if it's a
Rad.
comedy, he's literally the only person laughing.
Sandy Toxvig was talking about said she did in Korea.
Yeah.
And nobody was laughing during her whole set, and she felt very awkward doing the whole thing. And at the end, when she said like goodbye and thank you, they all stood up and laughed and clapped.
Jeez,
So, I mean,
that must be the most awful thing as a stand-up.
I mean, that's awkward, but I would prefer that to.
So when I was in America the first time,
the first time I was
in America.
you literally just came back from America
Shut up!
like a week ago.
Shut up!
It was many years ago, and I watched, again, I don't know how much this is the type of film I chose to watch, or the people that go to watch that film in America. Like, I'm not sure what overlap of statistical analysis
Oh,
I
did you
can
go
draw
watch?
this on.
Did you go watch Simon Says?
I
And then
went
there's
to-
like Simon Says Scream.
And everyone
Simon Says Call Your
No,
Relatives.
worse, I went to go watch Transformers.
Oh.
And let me tell you, first I was enamored by the experience because the biggest, comfiest seats I have ever seen in, and the strange long tray in front of the seats. And I was like, what is this about? Everyone sat down, and somebody came around and handed out menus. You know, like in the Cavendish, but like the one for Cavendish is like little foods. This is like, would you like a steak and chips with your fucking cinema? And I was like, this is mad. Yes, I would like a steak and chips in the cinema, of course.
What? Did you eat meat back then?
Yeah, this was years ago. Years.
Back when he was handsome, remember?
Yeah, this was Handsome Thomas.
Because he ate meat.
Oh, that's he might be onto something. There was audience participation throughout the film. By that, I mean that at every critical moment, the audience would be like, oh, don't do that! Like, oh, he's gonna get shot! And, like, it was the whole audience. Not a guy behind me, not two dudes in the front row. Fucking everybody was, like, oh, interacting with the movie and reacting to it in a way like I imagine children react to pop-up books.
I thought
It was fucking mad.
I thought that was just the comedy of Cats that was bringing that out in people that I went to go and
So
see.
you experienced it too.
Exactly the same, yeah. I thought it was just everyone getting involved in the stupidness that was Cats. the
Okay,
movie.
so it is an American thing. By the virtue of 2 data points, we have extrapolated the behavior of an entire culture.
I've heard fucking horror stories. The other thing that I found interesting, that I was following a thread on Twitter where like a lot of filmmakers, like big filmmakers, were talking, and they're talking about like volume levels. And apparently in the States, in a lot of the cinemas, and like Europe and so on, they have the cinema, like, the sound's really quiet. Well, not like really quiet, but it's like what our DB
Ours is fucking
what our DB levels are high, but like even in our, like in a regular cinema here is much louder than you get in a lot of
like
cinemas there.
So they're all like Labia.
Basically, the thing is, can you imagine having that film watching culture
with low sounds. You can't even fucking
because
hear.
they were all complaining about watching their films.
See, I
and
got
like details getting lost and stuff in the
Because
sound
people
because
are
it's so
fucking-
quiet.
Wow.
See, I got lucky being that I'm watching Transformers. Isn't much of a story to keep track
Yeah.
of, and any story
Just
I
explosions
and the explosions I could hear through the din of the detritus around me.
So yeah, like the idea that, because I thought if I go there, like my ears are gonna get blasted. Obviously everything's gonna be bigger
it's
and louder.
America.
And yeah, apparently not. Apparently for like in most cinemas, like they've got regulations and shit that
See,
they
that's
stick to.
really shitty. However, you get here the problem, which I experienced, which ironically made my viewing of Cats better, where I could hear all of the explosions and gunfire from Midway that was in the cinema next door being reverberated through the fucking
You go to
walls.
Canal Walk?
No, Waterfront.
Oh.
To the Nouveau.
Oh, yeah. No. The Nouveau's got...
Shitty it's built very badly.
Yeah. But yeah, I've also heard from my brother that it is fairly common for people to take both babies and phone calls into films.
If you take a phone call in a film,
You are Satan.
No, what you are
You are the devil.
What you are saying to everyone around you is, please throw your drink at me.
Yeah.
Please take your 500 milliliter drink and pan it at
500 mils. Is that an American baby size?
Well, actually, I think it is. Isn't it? Yeah, because they got, what is it, 32 ounce. 32 ounce is 750 mils, isn't it?
I have no idea how ounces
Fuck
work.
off. Metric here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like they
Look, their small was our medium.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what you're saying is that everyone around me now has license to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Because you are deciding to break everyone else's experience because you have to take a phone call now, even though, thankfully, cinemas say, please put your phones on silent, you know, yeah, whatever, please.
And people are like on fucking WhatsApp and stuff during films.
People taking photos of film.
Yes.
When I went to go and see The Shining at the Labia, there was somebody taking photos of the film with a flash.
Oh!
I think that's a hate crime.
I think that's a war crime.
Hey.
That's a war crime.
Yeah, it's a war crime.
I
To The Hague.
yeah.
Hang you.
Yeah, I did yell in the middle of the movie, one more fucking photo.
Good.
And then they took one more, and you were like, "Thank
No, they
you.
didn't.
That's very generous of you
No, they didn't.
to adhere to my request. I appreciate it. I'm glad we're such good friends now." And then someone else shouted, "One more fucking word" at you, and you're like, "Cheese!" And everyone applauded.
Everyone applauded.
And that's a great cinema
You know,
experience.
we've all
And then I
grown.
was eating a full can of beans.
This isn't a cinema thing, but like my first experience, like, because I've watched like musicals here and stuff,
Yeah.
and like every now and then you've got someone talking or people that are restless. It's nothing compared to some other places. I went to watch Hans Zimmer when I watched it in Ireland.
I want to go watch Hans Zimmer.
In Ireland. When we watched it in Ireland, dude, holy shit. Not okay, this is gonna sound like I'm trying to be funny, but a lot of people were drunk.
Dion,
Wow,
that's
you and your
racist.
social commentary, Dion.
No, they were fucking drunk, talking. There was a woman off to my left, right, in front of me.
You know her forever now.
Yeah, I still want to find her one day and just
punch her in the back of the
fucking
head.
just beat the shit. The problem is, like, they were there in a huge group.
Oh no, you couldn't take
Of
him.
very drunk,
Irish
very
people.
built people, and it's like this can go one of two ways. They could either apologize,
Sorry.
Or they could
Or they
fucking-
could turn on you and
because
kick the shit out of you.
because they only had the most tenuous like relationship to reality at that point. What she did, not now and then, every song, every single one, she held up her phone,
Filmed it vertically.
portrait, right? She held up her phone and filmed it, just like this, for about 30 or 40 seconds. So super bright, not even dimming the phone or anything. Super bright in a darkened thing. Then sat on WhatsApping the video to all her friends for the rest of the song and typing. And then the next song would start, and she'd film it in portrait for about 30 or 40 seconds, and then send it to all her friends,
Oh
one
my God.
after the other, typing each one an individual message.
It sounds
and
like
eventually I was like, hey, listen, sorry, but, you know. Oh, and then she and her husband or boyfriend were shouting at each other, like, to converse over the song. But, like, talking about other things. Like, talking about just random shit. And it's like, so it'll be like, when it's loud, they're paying attention, for the most part. And then as soon as it goes to, like, one of those quieter, more delicate things, they're like, cool, discussion time.
It's time for a chat.
So it's these, like,
Wow.
beautiful, sensitive things. And the thing is, it's not just them. They're just a microcosm of what
What's
was
happening throughout the whole...
everywhere. They were just, like, the ones that happened to be
So
most...
what you're saying is, like, you know, in Buddhism, there's like horrible things that happen to people that
Yeah.
are reincarnated. There's like special hells.
Yeah.
That was your
Oh.
special hell.
That was, I must have done, I thought you were going to go with, they're going to have one of those and I should feel good. But I just realized, you're right, I've done something terrible in my
and
past
that was
life.
and that was your
Because that was hell. And you're like watching Hans Zimmer and Guthrie Govan are like such good seats. And oh, the other thing is the moment there was a quiet piece. Remember, he gives speeches between songs where people can do whatever they want. They were like, as soon as and half the music is quiet, people are like, bathroom break. So half the fucking
their bladders
stadium
were full of alcohol.
full of
like
Yes.
every time it goes down to like a really quiet, sensitive thing, and you can just see it starting to build. Everyone's like, "Cool, bathroom break." Half the fucking stadium pushing past you, walking out to go to the bathroom, and then like the music's getting real epic and everything, and then they all start one by one filing back in.
Oh, wow.
There's an intermission in the
How
show,
disheartening for the performers.
and also critique on the show itself. They encourage people to post their, like, they've got a big thing up at the beginning, like, post your photos and videos
No!
with the hashtag this and that and that. Don't encourage people. Tell them to put their goddamn phones away, because a photo or a thing or whatever, like, they've got promo trailers for the tour. That's a good advertisement. People's cell phone videos.
Some motherfucker filming. Do you know what the worst part is? It's
In
the
portraits!
vertical.
In portraits!
You're filming vertical. You fucking philistine.
Yeah, and that was just when I watched in Germany, there was one guy that was doing stuff like that, and I like after about 10 minutes, I was like, "Hey, dude, stop! You're ruining the show." And he was like pissed off, but he stopped, and that was it.
And that was it.
That was the extent of it. Ireland, completely different cult, like the same kind of venue, the same kind of everything. People were treating it like a festival show. Like, you know, if you go watch a festival during the day, like, oh, you're watching one of the opening bands. Cool, I'm gonna fuck off, go get some beer during the song. It was exactly that, but seated
At an
in the dark
auditorium.
at
Fucking
Hans
Hans
Zimmer
Zimmer.
with an orchestra and a choir, and it's like,
Have some respect.
Jesus.
Have some goddamn common
Glad I got the
decency.
Blu-ray and just rewatch it and just like purge that from my system.
Wow. Yeah.
But I think the worst of all of it wasn't even the vertical. It was the fact that people were having loud, shouted conversations over the music. And if you ask them like, "Hey, could you just take it down a bit?" Sorry. 30
Okay, what were
seconds
you
later. Like they can't just.
Or just like, I don't
They're-
know,
like they-
maybe bask in the splendor of the
Of the fucking
experience.
music. Like,
and then
leaning-
afterwards, leave in a semi-comatose state. And the next day, maybe be ready for some conversation. Because I just saw fucking Hans Zimmer.
Leaning over to the person is too much effort, though. Leaning over, like you have to
No,
be staying. You
imagine
have to stay
leaning.
sitting.
You have to-
exactly the way you are and
Just
shout
yell.
so they can hear you.
Don't yell directionally.
Also,
though, just,
like,
know.
you want to be watching the show, so don't turn your head to the left or right.
of
Speak
course.
to them.
Just yell
Just
this
speak
way.
louder forward so they can hear it from the sides.
Yeah. That's how explosions work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So what are some?
we had a similar thing when we went to go see Us. In Canal Wharf.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, where there was a large group of people behind us.
A large group of teenagers.
Horror movies are the worst thing to watch at
Yeah.
the cinema.
Yep.
Yeah, like when we went to go see. What was it? One of the Conjuring movies? Was it the second one? And there was that lady that was
Oh
just
yeah, it
on
was
a...
Conjuring 2.
Horror movies are the worst to go watch. Except for when we went to go watch The Nun, and I got to yell Deus Vult in the middle of a cinema, and it was thematically appropriate.
The thing is, it's because horror movies are like, cool, we're on a date, we're a little bit inebriated, like it just draws people that aren't there for a cinema experience. They're just there for like a theme park ride.
Yeah, for a, oh, that was a
Yeah.
spook.
And they're there as friends, and they're all like, guys are all trying to show how cool they are, and the girls are all like, hyper. So it's so predictable.
Yeah.
So I know I'm taking my life into my own hands if I go watch a horror movie at the cinema. But it's also the best place to watch it because of the
Yes,
sound
because of
and
the
the
sound.
immersion.
That's why if you're gonna watch a horror movie at the cinema, I'm sorry to say IMAX, not the super best option for
Yeah.
it. Rather do what we did with Midsommar,
Yes.
book out an entire
Book out
fancy
a whole
cinema.
fucking cinema
yeah,
with people you know are gonna respect the experience.
yeah, that was fucking great.
That was
And
one of our
every now and then you get lucky.
masterstrokes.
There are cinemas, like the one that closed, reopened, but it's different now. But that closed at Grand West. Fantastic, because it's not a cinema that's sort of got a lot of traffic. So if you go watch a film late at night there, if you go watch a film...
Be careful, you will run into my uncle at some point. That's his cinema of choice.
Oh, is it late at night, especially a film that's been on the circuit for a while that isn't necessarily very popular, you will 9 times out of 10 have a private screening.
See, that's fucking rad.
And that's fucking ideal.
Strange movie experience, but I would actually argue my best movie experience was a private screening that I had at Canal Walk when I went to go watch the very first Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. Oh!
I went to watch, and I, never seen it, and so I went to go watch it at the cinema. It was before a date. I went there early, and I was like, I'm just gonna watch this movie while I wait.
That is new levels of punctuality from you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Getting there so early that you have time to watch your movie.
And then we watched another movie. It was a good date. So I, went in to the cinema and I was like, okay, horror movie. I've heard about it. Looks pretty cool. All right, waiting for other people to file in. There's no one here. Okay, cool. I'm here alone with this movie.
Yeah,
and like it fucking terrified
that
me.
movie scared the
It
balls out of me, dude.
scared me, and I was alone in the movie. So like I would like be furtively glancing around and be like, "What was that noise?"
Oh shit!
Oh shit! It was amazing.
That's
it was,
great.
I've had 2
absolutely
really good
awesome.
movie experiences at Canal Walk
Yeah.
as well. That was my brother and I had a private screening of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Ooh.
Classy.
And we went to an 11:30 show. So when we walked out at
1
like
a.m.
2 a.m.
Yeah, like you have to
Like
try and
everything's
find an
closed.
exit.
Yeah, you gotta go out through the back exits and we're like, ooh, doon, 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 doon.
That's perfect.
That is rad.
Which was pretty amazing. I've also actually driven a car through that mall. And yeah, I did promotions at one point and had to drive one
That's
of the new
cool.
Opals through the thingy.
That's real cool.
That's fucking rad.
And the other time was when you and I went to go and heckle my sister and Ethan on their date.
That was such a great time. I'm
I need
so
to know the
glad
story.
you included
Well,
me on that.
we went to go and see Mother!
Mother! Exclamation mark.
Yeah, which was a pretty interesting experience.
Which was lovely.
And then when we came out of the cinema, we saw my sister and her boyfriend buying tickets for a movie there. And we were like, oh shit, what are you gonna go see?
And then they told you.
Fools! The idiots!
The morons! They told us what they were gonna go watch.
So we bought tickets. And went in the cinema behind them and just started heckling them.
It was really great. I'm so
That's
glad
amazing.
you included me in that really special
I
moment.
hope there wasn't anyone else in the cinema.
No,
okay.
it was just us.
It was just us.
That is amazing.
We are terrible people.
It was also really early on in their relationship.
I'm just what disappoints me about this whole thing is that your sister didn't walk out and then go tell them, hey, listen, there's these two
These two
older
guys.
guys that are sexually harassing me.
That would have
shit,
been
that would've
the
been
best move she could have made.
Didn't capitalize,
disappointing.
Rachel. Didn't
Disappointing.
capitalize.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
But
So,
then
yeah.
again, also we had the us experience there, and the one time I can't remember what I went to go and see, but it was a empty-ish viewing at the 4K cinema,
Nice.
and there was a group of sketchy-looking individuals in the front,
Some ne'er-do-wells.
ne'er-do-wells, and one of them was just vaping throughout the movie.
You didn't go out and tell someone?
We'll get murdered.
That's true. Oh, of course, they're
Yeah.
ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
Damn.
They could do you a murder.
Caps backwards and everything.
Caps backwards,
Pants
socks rolled
baggy.
down, up.
But yeah,
Where do you roll your
pants-
socks if you're a ne'er-do-well?
Down.
Down. Socks rolled
up
down.
if you're classy.
Yeah.
That's why I have such long
At least
socks.
they're wearing socks. Imagine they hadn't been. You'd be dead.
You'd be fucking dead.
You'd be fucking
I'd be
dead.
fucking dead.
So that fucking sucks. Yeah, the one thing that doesn't happen as often, because I'm more judicious about where I watch, is when we used to watch a lot of films at Canal Walk, and we used to watch a lot of films at one of the worst cinemas in the universe when Martina and I were still dating, and she lived in Somerset West, is the one at Somerset Mall.
Ooh,
I've never
I went to
been-
go and
I've
see
never-
a Star Trek there.
That is
I've never been there.
so abysmal.
Is it worse than Blue Route? Because Blue Route was my worst.
I haven't been to
experience.
Blue
Blue Route has
Yeah.
an IMAX now,
Fuck
which
Blue
is
Route.
apparently a smaller IMAX than ours.
Rad. That means more exclusive.
So it's just a cinema. So we would go watch films there, and a typical thing. I think we watched the first Insidious, and this one was a canal walk now, but this is the exact kind of experience we had at Somerset West, or literally weekly, because we would go to a movie every week until we just stopped going there. Would be, okay, cool, the movie hasn't started. Go out and tell them. Oh, okay, sorry. Trailers start. Play all the trailers. Movie starts. Movie stretched. Completely the wrong aspect ratio. Completely wrong. Go out and tell them. Oh, okay. Surround speakers aren't working. Go out and tell them. Come back. Front left speakers crackling. Go out and tell them. Okay. Picture fixed. Sound kind of working.
Sound
not
at
great.
70%.
Yeah, sound not great. Okay, but at least I can just watch this movie and get it over with. And then like then the movie will go out of focus. So it's like just completely blurred. It's like, go out and tell them 5 minutes later, and then eventually go to the manager and be like, hey, this is, and the guy's literally so sleazy looking, like faux leather jacket, like pleather but snakeskin, like pleather jacket, slicked back, like greasy hair.
You can
like,
just say Neil Breen. You can just say Neil Breen. That's fine.
Yeah. So Neil Breen was there, and he's like, yeah, but I mean, you gotta understand, it's an end of run cine. Like, it's an end of run. Like the film's been out for a while. And I'm like, but you charged me the same ticket price.
If this movie screening was free, I'd say, you know what, that sucks. But whatever, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. He's like, no refund because it's an end of run cine. We have to know what we're getting. I'm like, well, you didn't advertise it like that, and I paid
if
full
you
price.
advertised it as shitty sound with bad focus.
Also, like, that was another one where it was like, oh, yeah, no, and the sound, like, yeah, no, sorry, our technician that does the calibration is in Joburg.
Yeah, he's in Joburg.
They're always in fucking Joburg, apparently.
Yep.
Man, we should really go.
So this was every week when we went to Somerset Mall, and then when we switched over to Canal Walk, like I would be celebrating if I just watched a film where there wasn't something wrong. So yeah, I mean, I remember taking my folks to watch Talladega Nights because that movie was like a religious experience for me the first time I saw that. I was like, I was the exact right age. It was the exact right movie. It was just like, yes. And my folks wanted to watch a movie. I'm like, go watch this. It's hilarious. And then the sound was in mono. There was only the speakers behind the screen working. What? And mono. So most of the sound effects missing, very quiet. You can't watch a comedy like that.
No.
And like, no matter how many times you go out and tell them, like, there's like, I don't know.
The technicians in Joburg.
So, Jesus, but I've had very little of that because I mostly watch at the IMAX or just at Cape Gate, where they have sort of mostly revamped.
Yeah, the Cape Gate, the IMAX has had one or two problems with its screenings there in terms of like first day screenings.
Yeah,
I've never had a problem with the IMAX if I've gone to a showing later in the run.
I did with Age of Ultron, where they replayed the first 15 minutes of the movie 3 times.
What?
That whole opening fight scene?
Yeah.
Which at least is entertaining.
It's a cool fight scene.
Like, played, and then then the film went off,
and
then they started it again, and then like 10 minutes later the film went off, and then they started it again, and then it was the whole thing.
Yeah. So, but I don't think I've ever had a problem at
for the most part, it's
like
it's
stock
rock
standard
solid,
cinemas there.
Yeah, no, their cines are great. Even the 3D ones are like, you can see they use newer screens and they actually replace their
because they
their
revamped the whole
bulbs.
thing when they did the IMAX there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Canal Walk had a full revamp at one point, and their 3D cines are still.
They didn't have a full revamp. They changed the chairs a little bit and they redid the things, but they didn't change the screens.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is they had a revamp in that like parts of it was closed, like only one half was open for a while, and then only the other half was open for a while, like, and it was this whole rebranding thing, and they put but they don't replace the bulbs and they don't replace the screens,
which are the two most important parts.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, we've mentioned this before on the podcast, but like, they always call it the silver screen. They never call it that in South Africa. They call it the big screen because they're too cheap to go with the proper screens that actually reflect properly.
So the IMAX is a silver screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched Rogue One. Luckily, it was our second or third viewing at Canal Walk.
Yeah, the 4K one that we went to.
No.
Oh,
no,
the 4K one
where we took Martina's family to go watch.
Yeah.
It was so dark there were scenes like, you know, where they're looking through the scopes,
Yeah,
where the
at
screen was
night.
literally just black, like literally just a black screen, well, dark gray,
Jesus Christ.
and it was like they didn't really know what was happening in parts of the film.
Yeah, because if you can't fucking
And
see...
that's why, like, I'll often talk to people and I'll say, you know, I love the cinema, and they'll be like, no, I hate the cinema. It's shit because it's so dark and it's crap. It's like, what are you talking? And then I remember, like, oh wait, this is actually what most people's experiences are like.
Pretty awful.
So it's just this terrible,
Horrible.
inevitable downward spiral where they put no effort into replacing bulbs, replacing the screens,
Why aren't people coming to the
all
cinema?
the stuff. So the experience gets worse. So fewer people come. So they have less money. So they have to sell more trailers. They have to sell more ad
I'm
space.
sorry, by the way.
Yeah, they
for
sell
a
more
lot of
ad
those,
space. They make the concessions more expensive.
Most recently, the Sanlam one.
I don't think I've seen it.
You have.
Your mind's probably blocked it out.
Probably.
The one that has the whole new world, the song, but taken from different things that look like news clips.
No! Fuck you!
Sorry.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
They paid us a lot though.
Fuck you!
But yeah, I just want my own cinema.
Hey, I'm just saying.
And I mean, that's the thing is, like,
minimum
I just want to be...
$100,000 US.
$100 to build your own IMAX. Yeah.
Yeah, that is literally, that's on the list.
It's doable. It's really doable.
It's difficult because a very well-paying job in the US will net you $150 a year.
I mean, like, I can sell drugs.
Yeah, but we're in South Africa. All electronics are cheaper here.
Yeah. You know that.
I'll never forget, like, when
Get an
the
off-brand
fucking
IMAX
what was
projector.
that 3D thing where you put your Samsung phone into?
Oh my
the
God.
Samsung, the Gear.
Oh my
It's like it's
God.
$99. I'm gonna go pick one up for like 1.3 grand or whatever, and then it cost 4 grand here.
Yeah.
I was like,
This is
okay. And we're a fucking third world
a
country.
third world country. But no.
Yeah.
So,
But 100K is steep because that's
That's basically if you include like all sorts of things, probably about 2 million rand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 million rand.
that's like 5 Sideshow collectibles.
That's
that's
a
at
house.
But like, you can sleep in an IMAX.
That's true.
That is true. But you do need to own the property before you can have the IMAX installed. That's
Well,
not them building the building.
Possession is 9
10s.
tenths of the law. So,
That's
like,
true.
if you just show
So
up somewhere,
just steal your neighbor's building.
look, say you know your neighbor is going out of town.
or
for,
your
like,
neighbor is dead.
Or your neighbor is
But no
dead
one's
through
found the
like
body
a
yet.
strange accident. Like, who knows? You know, accidents happen all the time. Sometimes things just go bad. And then, like, you invite a construction crew around to, I don't know, make his house into an IMAX. And then when the police and or family pitch up, or him from holiday, you'll be like, well, I have squatters' rights. So
Not just that. Hey guys, I got a print of Mad Max Fury Road, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, sweet."
I'd love to watch
We forgot
that.
what we were here for.
Why
but
are we here?
Great.
Can we watch Fury Road? Yeah, sure.
Before, just come in and just watch the movie. We'll discuss it afterwards.
Yeah,
And
so
I'll give you
what?
guys a 20% discount. on
Yeah,
the
and then
entrance
they
fee.
leave and they're like, man, that was a great cinema experience. And then
That
they
was
go home.
fucking
I
It's
can't
very
believe we have a cinema so close to it.
And they're like, "What did we go there for again?" Well, Mad Max, dude. Let's
I know,
fucking-
Mad Max, though, right?
Let's get the
I'm just saying I live in
black and
Pinelands.
chrome.
People die there a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
it is. It is the waiting room.
But yeah, I think a home cinema is it's just the ultimate solution, and it is the most
Remember, if,
unbelievably privileged thing to even be able to consider sometime in the future. But it's also like, I've given the cinema
I've given
a lot of my life.
How much money have you given the cinema? Have you actually thought about it? Because
I
I have.
At least 30K.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty conservative estimate.
I'd say more than that if you include snacks and shit. Like, and I mean paying buying Martina's ticket as well, or her buying my ticket,
Buying
like
Thomas'
combined.
ticket.
Yeah, buying me a ticket.
Buying me a ticket,
buying
buying
you a
you
ticket.
guys tickets when
that
you come
they
with.
don't show up,
So,
just watch.
Like,
Buying group tickets.
I mean, like we're like something like Endgame or Rise of Skywalker. Like, I drop 1.5 grand.
Yeah, that
like,
was
immediately.
Well, yeah, that was like how much I spent for the 1917 tickets because it was 7 of us, 6 of us.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think about it that way, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot, and it's like, I think we deserve something back.
Yeah, we deserve something special. You know, we've earned it.
By virtue of us existing.
Yes.
We've earned it.
Treat yourself.
technically, we've paid our deposit.
Well, no, we need to think about it the way people always talk to me about my band touring. Or they're
yeah?
like, "Oh, guys, just go to Europe. It'll be great for you." Like, I don't have the money. Like, but just go, just do it. It'll be worth it.
Just do
And it's
it.
like, but I physically can't afford it. Yeah, but I mean, it would be so great for you. You should just do it. Just make it happen.
So what you're saying is we should
It'll
just
be worth
build
the money.
the cinema.
So just do it. It'll be worth it.
You know, you make a strong case.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
mean,
it.
it will be worth it. We should just do it.
Yeah, we were gonna like give you some tips and like guides of what to do and what to avoid and where to go. But our actual advice is
Just build a
your own
cinema.
fucking
Yeah, just do
cinema.
it.
Just do
Let's
it.
just crowdfund a cinema for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello there, bank of money. I need a loan.
Yeah. Just just
Actually, no, I just need money, because if you don't call it a loan, then ha ha ha, sneaky loophole.
Just Uwe Boll it. Just crowdsource it. Like, hey, I'm gonna build the cinema. Don't say what it's for.
Yeah.
People will assume that it's like selling brownies at a festival and you charge $20 for those brownies. You're not saying there's marijuana in them, but people assume there is.
Because
it's
of
not,
the price.
It's not your fault there's no marijuana in them.
And the thing is, people are so
Just put it in
suggestible.
inverted commas.
Yeah,
Brownies.
People are so suggestible. They're just gonna get high just off the suggestion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's actually their fault, and you are trying to bring this to their attention. So actually, this is a social outreach program as well as a
The
community
thing is-
upliftment.
And the one person who comes to you and says, "Hey, I didn't get high off these," you're like, "Well, then you need more."
yeah,
Exactly.
you just haven't found the right strain.
The thing is, and I know this pretty much for certain, if we all bought houses in the same enclosed community, we would then buy a further house to
and
then
convert
turn
it to
into
a
a
cinema.
cinema.
Yeah.
That's literally when we started talking about home cinemas. Is pretty much the first thing that crossed my mind.
It's like if we took one of those apartment blocks in your apartment complex and we knocked off all the interior walls, like
And then we
No, but
and
then we gotta live in apartments. No, we're not in an enclosed neighborhood with houses.
Yeah.
We're gated
And-
community.
and then we hook consoles up.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh no, but then we'll need two houses so
we
we
need
can
two
have two
houses!
screens and we can
Yes!
play co-op games.
Because couch co-op is dead.
So yeah, so we need two.
We'll just bring another screen.
We'll bring another IMAX. It's fine.
So what we need is to buy two houses, to buy two houses and then connect them. And on the one end there's the one screen, on the other end there's the other screen.
There you
and
go,
it's
back to
shouting
back.
distance of each other.
There's a couple of strings.
There we go.
But yeah, my ultimate dream is us in an enclosed neighborhood. One house is a theater.
Yeah, the theater house.
Yes.
But
Yes,
I mean,
yes, yes.
fuck, you need lots of money
But
for that,
until
and I
we-
don't think I'm ever gonna get there in
But
my life.
Until we
think
get
you will.
there, I think the most
Jason.
important thing is to
Come on.
the most important thing is to find a cinema that will net you the least sort of external interruption, because like you say like, oh, the seats are bad or the screen is not great or the sound is like, the most important thing is that there's no fucking people
Yeah.
fucking up your movie, because everything else you can kind of
Now
deal
with Cape Gate, with the general lack of technical issues,
Yes.
for the most part, yeah, people are the bottleneck in the
Yeah,
enjoyment.
except weirdly, my best cinema experience is the most packed cinema I've ever been in.
Yeah, packed to the
When they
because
had
they
to seat
double
people on the
sold.
sides.
They had to see people at the back on stools.
Because the site just
oversold.
crashed.
They
and-
double and triple sold seats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most clinical move I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
Which is why I was so happy
That's
we
what we call a pro
Martina
Sir
did
Kinnick
up.
yeah,
And we arrived super early,
Yeah,
so we
so
were the
no-
first ones to check in with our seats.
yeah. So no one could take ours. Yeah, I mean that was by far the best, just because of that, like the reaction and
Yeah.
people are so
People are all in it together.
raptured. Yeah, that's well, that is the good thing about the previous screenings, is that's usually like
The
the hardcore fans, and those people aren't there to fuck around.
Yeah, that's why it's a weird coin flip, because you're gonna get people who aren't fucking around, but Stir Chemical's gonna be fucking around.
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't know how this film works, because each one is entirely different to the film
Yeah,
before
of
it.
course. I swear, when they told us, like, oh, it's going to be 18 minutes, it's like they had a little download bar
Yeah.
going.
Shit. Have you ever been in a cinema that's had film burn?
No.
I have.
Must have been a while ago.
Like I was a kid.
Oh,
was
70s were a crazy time.
I was an actual child, and I went to go watch a film,
to imagine that.
and just smaller.
With the beard.
Same
and
beard.
everything.
Same
With
beard.
the tendrils
really.
to kind
Yeah.
of measure things.
Like smaller with like more sociopathic impulses that were slowly bred out of me as I learned that crimes were bad. Well, as I learned that accidents
Getting
had
caught.
consequences. You know, not so much that like don't kill that person. It's like you'll go to jail.
You can, but
So basically, when you got into your early 20s.
Yeah, basically.
yeah, 21.
But yeah, no, I went to go watch a film.
Good job.
Couldn't tell you what it was for, but I distinctly remember that during the previews, during the ads, there was an ad that featured a dog of some kind, and you know, it came onto the screen, and it came up to the screen, and it went ah, and then the whole thing went, and I was like, okay, this is part of the ad, and then it just went, and then all the lights went on, and there was smoke coming out of the projection room, and they had to usher everyone out, and then we waited, and then we went back in.
Wow.
Wow.
That's cool.
It happened not in Cape Town, but
Are you going to tell me Joburg?
no. What?
This is Joburg.
No, Joburg's where all the technicians are.
Joburg is
Just like you can't step on the. You can't see the floor.
sorry,
They're all the
excuse me.
fucking
fucking
technicians.
technicians everywhere. You throw a stone, you hit 20. No, it was at like I want to say, I don't know what the name of the place. Like it was up near Neisner or something. It was at this mall that was far away, and that's why I remember it was weird. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah,
Old Sterkenica proverb. The technicians in Joburg.
Oh, that's gonna be my way out of everything.
yeah, it's in Joburg.
Like, I'm gonna crash my car into something thinking about what the hell, man. Sorry, the technician's the Joburg.
Sorry, the
in
guy who
Joburg.
knows how to drive this thing's up in Joburg. The guy who has my insurance information's up in Joburg.
The guy who gives a shits in Joburg.
You don't give a shit. All right, so then what are our top tips, just like condensed, for your best movie
All right, you have to
experience?
kind of be a little, in terms of cinemas, you got to be a little polygamous at first. You
Yes.
got to try different ones. You got to see what days are empty.
Yeah,
I know
your
now.
Weekdays
Cape
are...
Gate Cinema Thursday night. Empty, Ghostland.
Yeah.
You go buy a ticket there, and the staff look at you with the blackest of
disgust.
hatred because
They have to do something.
we watched the movie there the other day. What did we go watch? And like they didn't realize we were in the cinema. Like the movie started late. I was like, when's the movie started? And then someone came to like lock the doors. and then they were like, oh, what? There are people in here. Oh, sorry, we did. And it wasn't like just the two of us. There were like 8 people in the cinema, so they obviously couldn't see the tickets had been bought. So yeah, so Thursday nights at Cape Gate, for instance, is
I know.
Yeah,
Extremely
so we've
open.
watched most of
I
our
know that
horror
like
Yeah.
Canal Walk like Mondays. Mondays on Canal Walk pretty much fucking empty. Never go on Tuesday though.
yeah, because it's
that's
half price.
and
Wednesday's
you're
half price
fucking asking
at
for trouble.
Yeah.
yeah, at
So avoid New
Sterkenicor.
Metros on Tuesday, Stoke was on Wednesday.
Do not see a 3D movie anywhere outside of IMAX. You
Or
are or the 4K.
Well, 4K's
The
got
4K
that weird,
it's got the weird thing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
screen.
but it's
where
at
it
least,
doesn't-
but it does in a
You
pinch.
can at least see it.
But Cape Gates 3D
Standard
and
standards.
Grand Westwind was. I know they've opened a new one there, so I assume it's the same.
Yeah,
Their 3D is pristine.
But for the most part, outside of that, you
Yeah.
are asking for trouble. You're asking to not see.
If
half
you go
your
watch a
movie.
3D film at like Canal Walk or at Tiger Valley or something, you've taken your life into your own hands.
Look,
you
Tiger
deserve
Valley
what you
is
get.
to be avoided at all costs.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a
like,
shit show.
Oof.
The last time I think I went to Tiger Valley was when we took Chrissy Poo to see Thor Ragnarok.
Jesus, that was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say always pre-book your tickets, but it doesn't always work with Sterkenicor because their new site revamped for you for better user experience crashes and glitches and freaks out at the merest mention of doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the ideal thing is to live in very close proximity to the place where you can just pop by
Yeah.
and book your
But I
tickets
mean,
like
even,
that.
even so, like Canal Walk used to be our premium option, and that's where we went every week. Because that was sort of the best we had at that time, and then they went downhill. Cape Gate got a revamp. Perfect. The other thing is just if someone's talking, tell them to shut up.
tell them
I
to
mean, unless
shut
they're
up.
like, unless they they seem like they might get aggressive or they're like,
Then call an
whatever.
adult.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if there are problems, report them. Nothing frustrates me more than when I'm sitting in a cinema. I'm always booked center. I'm in the fucking center of the row. That's where I want to be. And then something fucks up on the screen, and everyone
we
just
always have to go
sits
out.
there. And we're always the
Because
ones...
we have to move.
Yeah, and now we have to go... If you're sitting at the fucking back, especially,
It's
just
your-
pop out
yeah,
and tell
it's
someone.
kind of your. There should be assigned roles, like unspoken roles within cinema. Like if you're back or on the edges and something fucks up, it's your
It's like
job.
sitting at the emergency exit for a plane.
Exactly. You have to fucking hit that door.
It's the thing that they've plastered in all American airports that people need to like kind of take heed of is see something, say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't see something, say something.
Exactly.
If people were just more proactive about that and go talk to the manager, send emails.
Yeah.
The problem is in screenings like where I'll sit, okay, now something's fucked up. I'm just going to sit here because I'm in the center, so wait for someone else. No one else does. If someone just every time that happened got up and complained
They would
and
eventually
threatened to want their
money
money
back.
back, they'd have to do something. But because people are so complacent,
They're
and
just
people are just like, oh,
that
I guess this is
service
what
in
it
South
is.
Africa.
Yeah.
I got a refund for Alita Battle Angel.
There you go.
I have got many refunds
Yeah.
from we basically were just watching movies on a perpetual refund like cycle when
a
we used to
loop
watch
of
at Somerset
refunds.
West.
Yeah.
So it was like, this movie's fucked, give.
Yeah.
Just do that. I mean, eventually they have to do something.
Eventually they have to fix it. They're not. There's no business model that's just like, unless you're Amazon, that's just like, oh, we'll just let it fuck up, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah.
Just let them take our
We
packages.
can afford to fix it. Bezos can give us $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, $50. We
So
got divorced.
complain when you need to. Scope out the different cinemas. Like if you have a bad experience at one, complain, get a refund, go use that get a voucher, and go use that at another branch.
Yeah.
Maybe you're pleasantly surprised.
It's also important to remember that if you're gonna go watch an animated movie or a
Yes.
movie like geared towards kids, you gotta go at night.
Yeah.
Cannot go during the day.
And that's the catch. Sometimes they only show them during the day.
Yeah.
And then
But then you've got to like realize, okay, I'm gonna go watch a movie for kids.
No.
It's gonna be kids there.
But
Yeah.
then hopefully you've got a flexible work schedule and you can go see a morning show during the week.
Yes, like a 9 a.m. show before the kids have left.
Well, while
school.
the kids are still at the schools.
yeah. Well, grandparents do often sneak their kids out to go to the cinema, I have discovered.
That I did not know.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
But yeah,
Or even worse case scenario, they take kids that are too young to be in school.
Oh my word. Okay, so not you go for the 11.
So that's happened. Well, I mean, it's still. I think it's still a relatively safe bet,
God,
but that is something that
speaking-
can
Speaking
happen.
of too young, I remember when I was
This is gonna be a story.
when I was like 13, my older sister Bianca dated this guy. His name was Tyrone. I thought he was really cool.
That name.
Because he took me like golfing, like we'd go golfing together, and like he'd always like buy me McDonald's and stuff, like
Put his
rad
finger in your mouth.
rad dude, and later found out massive drug addict and hugely abusive towards my older sister, so not a great dude.
So now you're dating him.
But yeah, basically. But I will always remember the time that he got me into Freddy versus Jason
Yeah.
at the cinemas.
I watched
which
it at
was
Tiger Valley. I can
R18,
remember every fucking
And
detail
like
of that.
I was just like, oh, this is crazy.
Fucking that experience. I remember what the cinema looked like then, like the old layout. I remember everything about going in and coming out and going, yo.
Yeah, exactly. Like so.
I
Yeah.
fucking- I
Thanks,
thought that
Tyrone,
was
you
so
massive
great and
scumbag. I
hardcore.
hope you
You
die.
massive scumbag.
Yeah, but I mean, like Thomas, what was his name?
Tyrone.
What was his name?
Yeah, Tyrone.
Yeah.
He worked on the oil rigs.
Not Tyron.
no,
Tyrone.
His name was Tyrone, not Tyrone. Tyrone.
Yeah. So those are our theatre tips.
Those are theatre tips.
Theatre tips.
Use them, don't
And
use
horror
them,
stories.
but don't ever say we never did nothing for you.
Yeah.
We've done so much to these poor people.
Yeah.
We've been most of the
We've been
CineBeards.
75% of the CineBeards. Marcus would just say, oh, the CineBeards is not like the theatre.
He did do time in the theatre.
Exactly.
He did.
Yeah. All right. Drink Krabbies.
Good luck.
Drink
luck.
Krabbies.